Today is a big day for WordPress users. WordPress has officially launched the version 5.5 and let's see what are some goods and not so good about this latest version. So let's dive in. Here we have a WordPress website which is already updated to version 5.5. So let's see what are the updates in version 5.5. So first of all, we will go to the plugin section, and here is that on your installed plugins, we have an option of enable auto updates. So if you go ahead and click on that, it will now enable auto update for this plugin. So whenever there is an update on this plugin, it will automatically gets updated in your WordPress website. Now, this is something good for a website which is not using so many of the plugins or any third-party plugins. But if you are not an expert user of WordPress and you're just running a WordPress website for your business, then this could be a very risky thing to do. So I would suggest, if you are not sure, then make sure you disable this auto update plugins and be on the safer side. Another new thing in WordPress 5.5 is that now whenever you add a new plugin via upload, you won't see an error message that a plugin is already available, or to upload a plugin you first need to go ahead and delete the files and all. You can now just go ahead and upload the plugin and it will replace the existing file. So let me show you how it is done. So if you could just go ahead and download the free version of Elementor plugin, we can just go ahead and download the zip file from here. And now let's go back to our upload section of plugins. And here, let's go ahead and drag and drop this plugin here. Now click on install now. And now you can see that this is showing us a message that this plugin is already installed. The current version is 2.9.14 and you are uploading almost the same version. So if you want, you can just replace the current upload and cancel to go back. So if we replace the current with uploads, it's going to just replace the files and then it will be all okay. Now you can just go ahead and update any plugin by just uploading it from the backend of the WordPress. So you don't have to worry about deleting the existing one and worry about if you will break the site or not. Now the same thing is applied to the themes as well. If you go to any WordPress theme, you will see enable auto updates. So you can just go ahead and enable that if you wish. And whenever there is an update in the theme, it will get automatically updated from the backend. Once again, if you're not sure if it will break your site or not, then I would highly advise you to disable that. Along with that, if you are not using a WordPress repository theme or you have downloaded a theme from any third-party website, so if you have purchased any theme from these theme marketplaces like Template Monster and Theme Forest, so those themes might not show you the enable auto updates. So just keep that in mind. Now the next thing which is updated is your WordPress sitemap. So if you go to your website URL and type in wp sitemap.xml, then you will see the sitemap of your website, which is now by default created by the WordPress itself. So if you are using any SEO plugin like Rank Math or Yoast, so this is something the SEO plugin makers need to check, that either they disable the WordPress XML completely or they find a way around to use both of them. But if in case you are using SEO plugin just to get a sitemap for your website, which I am actually trying to experiment on some of my websites, now you do not need any SEO plugin to get the XML sitemap done. It's now inbuilt in the WordPress website. But again, just check if it is not conflicting with your WordPress SEO plugin. Alright, so another big update is the lazy load feature. WordPress will be having lazy load on all the images of your website. So whenever you are just visiting a website on WordPress, the lazy loading of images will be inbuilt in that. Now all of my websites are hosted on SiteGround, and there is a plugin called SG Optimizer. You can also go ahead and install it even if you are not using SiteGround. And this plugin actually enables lazy load of images on your front end. So I actually need to go ahead and disable that because I saw there is a little bit of issue if you enable lazy load from any plugin, and right now it's by default in the WordPress. So there is, I think, no way to disable that. So the best thing to do is disable lazy load from any of your installed plugin and let the WordPress do the job. But let's see if it is actually working or not. So if you go to the front end of our website, and this is the blog post we can see here, and this is just a sample blog post. So if you just go ahead and scroll down, I am not sure if I can see any lazy loading here, but they say they have. So need to find out more about it if it is actually working or not. So after the lazy load of images, the next big update is from the block editor. Now WordPress is pushing really hard to improve the block editor as much as possible so that you actually don't need to use any page builder plugin. So with the recent update, there are few changes and updates in the block editor. So right now, as you can see, we have this page created using the normal Gutenberg block editor. You now see an option to add a new block here. There is a change in the icon. I think earlier it was a rounded icon and now we have a square one. So not sure if that makes a big difference. And one of the big change here is that whenever you upload any image, you can now just go ahead and edit that image in the block itself. Earlier, you need to go back to the WordPress backend and then open the media section, and then you can just go ahead and edit the image. But now you can edit the image right in the post itself. So if you select any image, you just need to click on crop, and then you can just go ahead and zoom in and zoom out if you want to point to any particular section of the image, or you can just go ahead and change the aspect ratio. So if you want, you can just drag the image up and down and just change whatever way you want. So if you want a vertical image, you can just set the proportions here. So this is something really helpful so that you can just edit the image right in the post editor itself. So just go ahead and cancel that. Another thing is a little bit of change in the layout of this bar, and you can now just go ahead and move the blocks up and down easily. I think it was present earlier as well. Now there is a difference in the look and feel of this. Now if you need to add a new block, you can just go ahead and add it from here or from here. But the new thing here is that there is a new section called patterns, which are actually pre-made blocks for you. So if you want a 2-column layout with 2 images on top, and maybe a 3-column layout with 3 buttons here, or maybe just 2 image block. So there are a lot of options which are ready-made. So these are actually kind of templates which are ready-made for you. So you can just go ahead and use them whenever you want. So right now we have 3-column layout here, and you can go ahead and choose as per your website requirement. Now if you are trying to add a block which is not present in WordPress, then you can now just go ahead and download it from the WordPress plugin repository. Let me show you how. For example, if you are on a blog post and you're trying to add a slider here, and you just go ahead in the blog section and type in slider, then there is actually no slider inbuilt in the Gutenberg editor. But right now what we are seeing here is the WordPress plugin repository, which got a plugin slider. So we can just go ahead and add this block on our WordPress, and then we can make a slider using this. But the problem here is that for a new user, it's not very clear that this is something inbuilt in my website, or I need to download it from the WordPress blocks or plugins repository. A non-technical user might end up adding a lot of plugins in the backend, and that is not actually a very good point. I really like these patterns that we have at least some ready-made blocks available here. So personally, I am not a big fan of this feature, adding blocks from the WordPress repository. So these are some of the goods and not so good about version 5.5 of WordPress. If you like this video, then make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to this channel if you want to learn more about WordPress. And soon I'll be coming up with a video tutorial for a complete guide how to use WordPress. So make sure you subscribe to this channel so that you can get notified whenever we upload these videos. So that's it for this video, and I'll see you in the next one.